Hello, students. Once again, I welcome you all to this online class schedule for English compulsory. As you know, you are all prepared for the first semester end examination, but due to this pandemic COVID-19 second wave, your exams have been postponed for a few days, and the new schedule, which is going to commence from 6th of next month, is already posted to your WhatsApp groups. So students, from today onwards, for another 10 days or so, before the commencement of your first semester examinations, I would like to teach you a couple of lessons from semester 2 for compulsory English. The first lesson that you will learn in this semester, that is second semester or semester 2, is titled as The Annihilation of Caste, written by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. In fact, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar does not need any kind of introduction, because he is the man who has immensely contributed for the building of this nation. So far, the introduction of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is concerned, and as it is provided in the textbook, I would like to pass on the same to you all. The present lesson, which is titled as The Annihilation of Caste, basically describes the caste system as the reason for the slavery of crores of common people living in India. You know the cultural setup, you know the caste-based different stratas of society in India. And the man like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who spent whole of his life for the upliftment of the people living in the downtrodden strata of society. As I said, the present extract describes the caste system as the reason for the slavery of crores of common people. The Anti-Caste Federation, which is also called Jat Paat Todak Mandal, used to organize annual conferences in different parts of the country. The main aim of this federation was to eradicate the caste system from amongst the Hindus. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the president of the conference to be organized in Lahore in 1936. He had written his presidential address, which was to be delivered in this conference. However, some members of the federation feared that some of Ambedkar's ideas would trigger the controversy. They requested him to delete some portion from his presidential address. But Dr. Ambedkar refused to do so. As a result, the Federation cancelled the conference. Later, Dr. Ambedkar published his speech independently. The present text, a section called Section D from Dr. Ambedkar's detailed speech, represents one of the significant views regarding the caste problem in India. Many Indian reformers, including Mahatma Gandhi, tried to remove the untouchability, but they did not seem to realize that the acts of the people were merely the result of belief inculcated in their minds by Shastras, and that people will not change their conduct until they cease to believe in the sanctity of the Shastras. It needs to understand the matter of Shastras. Dr. Ambedkar believed that we must take the stand that Buddha and Guru Nanak had taken. They dared to deny the authority of Shastras. Ambedkar also believed that we should have the courage to tell the people about what is wrong in the Hindu religion. So students, this is a detailed description as I read from the textbook, and I hope you might have understood the actual pulse or the ideas which are cherished by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in this particular lesson. As I said before also, there was an organization which was called the Anti-Caste Federation, means Jat Paat Todak Mandal, and the organization or the federation used to organize annual conferences in different parts of the country. Of course, I'm talking about British India, means before the independence of India on 15th of August 1947. So the Anti-Caste Federation organized a conference, an annual conference, and they scheduled it at Lahore in the year 1936. And Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was invited as the chairperson of the event. And as expected, he sent his presidential address to the organizers. But unfortunately, after going through the documents sent by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, some of the organizers thought that the ideas which were shared by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in the presidential address would definitely trigger the controversy in the country. And that's why they requested Dr. B.R. Ambedkar to delete some portion from his presidential address. But Dr. Ambedkar refused to do so, and ultimately the Federation cancelled the conference. Eventually, what happened? Dr. Ambedkar thought that whatever ideas about the caste system in India, he has already put it down on a piece of paper, should be published. And finally, he delivered a detailed speech that represented one of the significant views regarding the caste problem in India. In fact, there were many reformers Of course, social reformers like Mahatma Gandhi and others, those who worked for removing the untouchability in the country. But none of them really realized the act of the people, which was the result of their belief in the Shastras. And in this context, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar expressed his views and conveyed to the people of the country that whatever belief that you have in the sanctity of the Shastras is all responsible for the caste system in the country. In fact, he strongly believed in the values and principles of Lord Buddha and Guru Nanak. He always recommended that whatever stance and the stand was taken by Lord Buddha and Guru Nanak is desperately required for the Indian people. In fact, they dared to deny the authority of the Shastras. And here, if at all you want to get rid of the caste system in our country, you need to deny something which is really spoiling the atmosphere. We need to accept whatever is really wrong there in the Hindu religion. So these are the ideas which are cherished by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in this particular lesson. Now, I'll focus on the biographical details of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. I just had a couple of minutes talk on the precise impression that you will get at the end of this lesson about the annihilation of caste. As far as Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is concerned, his full name was Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, born on 14th of April 1891 and died on 6th of December 1956. He is also known as Baba Saheb, meaning respected father in Marathi language. He was an Indian jurist, political leader, philosopher, thinker, anthropologist, historian, orator, prolific writer, economist, human rights profounder, an eminent and erudite scholar, editor, and a revolutionist. He championed the cause of Dalits and women in India and revived Buddhism. He was the chairman of the drafting committee of Indian Constitution and therefore known as the architect of Indian Constitution. Born in a poor Mahar family, he is the strong preacher of annihilation of caste system in India. He has brought out the evils of the caste system and has given a complete analysis as to how the caste can be annihilated. He had written 32 books and 10 of his books are incomplete. Besides, he is also the author of the Indian Constitution. The most selling books of Dr. Ambedkar are The Problem of the Rupee, Its Origin and Its Solution, published in 1923, Thoughts on Pakistan, published in 1940, Who Were the Sudras, published in 1946, Riddles in Hinduism, published in 1955, and The Buddha and His Dhamma, published in 1957. So this is a brief introduction of Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar. So friends, now you might have understood the kind of biographical details provided about Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. He was born on 14th of April 1891 and died on 6th of December 1956. He is generally referred as or known as Baba Sahib. The meaning of the Marathi word Baba Sahib is respected father, and mostly the people call him as Baba Sahib Ambedkar. His professional profile is very strong. He is known as an Indian jurist, means the expert of a law, a political leader, a philosopher, a thinker, an anthropologist, historian, orator, prolific writer, economist, human rights profounder, an eminent and erudite scholar, editor, and a revolutionist. So it is indicative here that the areas in which Dr. B.R. Ambedkar proficiently worked in. In fact, he championed the cause of the Dalits and women in India. Once he adopted Buddhism, actually he was really responsible for the revival of Buddhism in India also. But throughout the world, his reputation is lying over there in the history of the country as the chairman of the drafting committee of the Indian Constitution. And that's why the people call him the architect of Indian Constitution. Actually, he was born in a poor Mahar family. Mahar is a community which is one of the untouchable community or the caste in India. And he is the strong preacher of the annihilation of caste system in the country. He has brought out the evils of the caste system and has given a complete analysis as how the caste system can be annihilated from the country. If you really look at his profile as a writer, you will find that 32 books are going to his credit. And some of the important titles are The Problem of the Rupee, published in 1923, Thoughts on Pakistan, published in 1940, Who Were the Shudras, published in 1946, Riddles in Hinduism, published in 1955, and The Buddha and His Dhamma, published in 1957. So these are the titles which are going to the credit of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. I think I talked very less about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. His profile is one of the very big and one of the very strongest one, I would say, all over the country. If you really see, go through or read the profile of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, you will realize that he worked in different arenas of life. He was a voracious reader and he had expertise on different areas of academics as well. But as a matter of fact, I'll just limit myself to the content which is processed over here in this textbook. The title that we are going to learn is The Annihilation of Caste. Mind it well, India is a country which has a unity in diversity. If you see the division of our country, we find different states, different languages, different cultures, and that variety itself is the speciality of our country. And that's why we call it a country that has multi-languages, the country that has multi-cultures, the country that has multiple styles of attire. Still, they are united, and this is the beauty of our country, and so we call it unity in diversity. But here, we are going to talk about a very complex aspect of our social structure, and that is the caste system in India. So when I'm talking about this particular topic, my humble request to all the students and the audience of this video, please do not take it personal. I'm trying to cherish the ideas as expressed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in this document, which is titled as The Annihilation of Caste. If you see the caste system in India, you will find that there are Brahmins, Vaishyas, Kshatriyas, and Shudras. This is the social structure that you find in our country. And here, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is trying to convince us that the belief of the people like the Brahmins and Vaishyas and the Kshatriyas in the principles of Shastras is basically responsible for this caste system and the discrimination based on caste, which is strongly found in this particular soil. So let us go through this lesson, which is titled as The Annihilation of Caste. There is no doubt, in my opinion, that unless you change your social order, you can achieve little by way of progress. You cannot mobilize the community either for the defense or for offense. You cannot build anything on the foundations of caste. You cannot build up a nation. You cannot build up a morality. Anything that you will build on the foundations of caste will crack and will never be a whole. So this is the beginning of the lesson, the annihilation of caste. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is strongly expressing his opinion and trying to convince the reader and the audience that if at all you want to develop, if at all you want to make any progress, if at all you want to really uplift yourself, until and unless you change your social order, you can achieve little by the way of progress. You cannot mobilize the community either for defense or for offense. If you want to build up a strong nation, you should get rid of the caste system in our country. You cannot build anything on the foundation of the caste system and the four stratas, the four social stratas in our country. If you want to build up a nation, you cannot build it up based on the foundations of the caste. You cannot build up a nation. You cannot build up a morality. Anything that you will build on the foundations of the caste, it will definitely crack and will never be a whole. The only question that remains to be considered is how to bring about the reform of the Hindu social order, how to abolish caste. This is a question of supreme importance. There is a view that in the reform of caste, the first step to take is to abolish subcaste. This view is based upon the supposition that there is a greater similarity in manners and status between subcastes than there is between castes. I think this is an enormous supposition. See now, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is trying to convince all of us by saying that if you really want to get rid of the caste system in India, you need to address this particular problem in the right way. Here, he is trying to tell you that the only question that remains to be considered over here in this soil is how to bring about the reform of the Hindu social order. Many reformers felt very anxious when they thought how to abolish the caste system in the country. Of course, this particular question is of supreme importance. This particular question is of supreme importance. But there is a view that in the reforms of the caste, the first step is to take in order to abolish the sub-caste system within the caste. According to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, this view is based on the supposition that there is a greater similarity in manners and status between sub-castes than there is between the different castes. And that's why Dr. B.R. Ambedkar thought that, first of all, we should get rid of the sub-caste system within the caste. And until and unless we could successfully do that, we will not be able to annihilate the caste system from our country. Now, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is giving you a couple of examples. He says, the Brahmins of the northern and central India are socially of lower grade as compared with the Brahmins of the Deccan and southern India. The former are only cooks and water carriers, while the latter occupy a high social position. On the other hand, in northern India, the Vaishyas and Kayasthas are intellectually and socially on par with the Brahmins of the Deccan and southern India. Again, in the matter of food, there is no similarity between the Brahmins of the Deccan and southern India, who are vegetarians, and the Brahmins of Kashmir and Bengal, who are non-vegetarians. On the other hand, the Brahmins of the Deccan and southern India have more in common so far as food is concerned with such non-Brahmins as the Gujaratis, Marwaris, Baniyas, and Jains. See now, Dr. Ambedkar has addressed a couple of examples in this respect. He is trying to compare and contrast within the caste. So first of all, he has elucidated about the Brahmins. According to him, the Brahmins of the northern and the central India are socially of the lower grade when they are compared with the Brahmins of the Deccan Plateau and southern India. See now, the Brahmins living in Deccan Plateau and southern India and the Brahmins living in northern and central India, when the people or the Brahmins of the country are being compared, the Brahmins of the northern and central India are considered to be socially of low grade. So here, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is trying to convince us we should get rid of the discrimination within the caste first, then only we can think of the discrimination based on the caste system. Secondly, he says, there are Vaishyas and the Kayasthas who are intellectually and socially on the par with the Brahmins of the Deccans and the southern India. Subsequently, Ambedkar is trying to talk about the cuisine or the food habits of the people. he has segregated the Brahmins into two categories. The Brahmins of the Deccan Plateau and southern India are purely vegetarian, whereas the Brahmins of the Kashmir and Bengal are the non-vegetarians. So here you have the discrimination among the Brahmins based on their eating habits also, their kasini also. So similarly, he is also going forward and trying to talk about the food is concerned with such non-Brahmins like Gujaratis, Marwaris, Baniyas, and Jains. And these communities are also vegetarian communities. So if at all you look at this particular problem, the problem of caste in India, we have the dominance of caste. Within the caste also, you have the influence of the sub-caste system. And according to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, until and unless we get rid of the caste system and sub-caste system in the country, we will not be able to eradicate the caste system from our country. So this is the point that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is trying to convey from this particular lesson titled as The Annihilation of Caste.